This video offers a brief introduction to the qualitative data collection in MIGNEX, so to provide an overview of the necessary preparations that you'll have to do before starting the qualitative data collection. All the details are in the MIGNEX handbook chapter on qualitative data collection, and so these videos can provide a glimpse into them, perhaps a refresher, but certainly not everything. But hopefully can be a support in also getting through and thinking through how you can use the MIGNEX handbook chapter in your own preparations. It's useful to understand the place which the qualitative data has within the MIGNEX project overall. So the role of the qualitative data here is to provide perspectives, including those things that are not easy to foresee and therefore also hard to collect data about in a survey, for instance. The qualitative data collection will be used across the MIGNEX project to analyze the things that are perhaps more elusive and the things that we maybe weren't planning for finding, and as such is really important. And it's important that the semi-structured nature of the data is respected at the same time as we collect it in ways that are possible to compare across 25 research areas. But we're really interested in managing to grasp things like hope and fear, people's aspirations, how things that are intangible, relating, for instance, to cultural aspects, to religion, or to emotions, matter in people's lives and affect also the relationships between migration and development. We're collecting the same qualitative data in all the 25 research areas. So the qualitative data collection also needs to follow the same procedures in all of these areas. But of course, because these are semi-structured methods of data collection, there'll still be a need for adaptation and the need to relate to the context that we'll actually be doing the research in. This is why it's really important that we all have a shared understanding of the common framework that we share for this data collection, so that the adaptations that we do still follow the same logic and the intention that we have with the data collection overall. It's also important to understand the shared framework in relation to the data collection and how it will be reported on, because we will have the same reporting formats across all the 25 research areas, and we will be analysing the data jointly afterwards as well. So whatever adaptations and flexibility we do need to have, that needs to be in relation to this common framework that we have. The qualitative data collection in MIGNEX results in 5 different outputs. First, the research area interim report. Second, the coding scales, which are included within the report. Third, the focus group transcripts. And fourth, photographs of the research area, and fifth, the photos of the doors within the research area. And all of these specific outputs are described in the MIGNEX handbook chapter on qualitative data collection, but it's important to be aware that these are the 5 outputs that we will be sharing with each other within the MIGNEX team, and that will be part of the analysis in MIGNEX. And so whatever we do when we're doing fieldwork in the research areas, we need to keep in mind the aim and the goal and the specific outputs that we're working towards. The data collection itself involves semi-structured interviews with key informants, as well as the focus groups. And then there are these photo components as well of the fieldwork. But there's also the observation part, which is really important and which will be a very important source of information, which is sort of intangible and which requires a keen eye and attention to what we actually are looking for. So in the research area interim reports, we have these coding scales, which may seem a little bit complicated, but filling them in and being able to write the background information around them that we'll be using in the coding scales and in the report itself necessitates a combination of the information that we get from the observation in the research area and the key informant interviews. And in the observation part, we'll have conversations that will give us a lot of information and background that we then can use in the research area interim report. Whereas with the key informant interviews, we'll be able to get more specific information, for instance, on the specific developments that maybe mark the area that we're doing the research in. In MIGNEX overall and in the qualitative data collection, research ethics and integrity are fundamental. And this includes issues that range from data management considerations to any interactions in the field that we might have with research participants, but also with other people. So there are some things that we have protocols for, which we need to follow very carefully, such as how we get informed voluntary consent from all those participating in our research and how we record that. But there are also many issues that we don't have specific protocols for, but where we need to be sure that our conduct is up to the best standards of good research ethics. There's more on this also in the handbook chapter, of course, And these are dilemmas very often that we might face doing the fieldwork, and therefore also really important to prepare for. So in terms of preparations for research ethics and research integrity, those things we need to think about are very practical in terms of data management. So how will we actually be able to store the data in a safe way while on fieldwork? But on the other hand, also reflecting on what type of area it is, how is our team composed, and how can we, in relation to that, manage good research ethical conduct while doing our research. This set of training videos you can consult when preparing for the qualitative data collection, and also while in the field if you like, and certainly also in relation to the reporting formats that you'll be using. However, the handbook chapter is where you find all the details, and you also have all the templates, all the kind of what not to forget lists are within the handbook chapter. So please do use that actively. And then there is a test to check whether you actually remember the things that are crucial to remember from this preparation to the qualitative fieldwork that you'll be asked to complete once you feel that you're done. And the purpose with the test is really just for training and to help us remember, because there are so many details that we need to keep in mind. And knowing that while doing qualitative data collection in the field, there's always so many unforeseen things popping up. There are changes to the context we're in, there are changes to the places we may think we'll be having focus groups, there are changes to the people who turn up or don't turn up, and how well prepared we are, there's always adaptations we need to make. And to be able to make those adaptations on the go while we're there, we really need to know all the details pretty much off by heart. And because there's so many different types of details that are useful to know, also in terms of the aims and goals at an overarching level. So thinking about the specific developments in the different areas, really considering what the kind of intangible or unforeseen aspects that we are noticing actually might be, we really need to be very, very well prepared. So the aim of the test is not for me or for anyone else to control what someone knows or how they understand it. It is for yourself to be sure that you are prepared to do the work that we're doing together.